Hi everybody. Welcome to this episode of Beware the Board, a horror podcast where we watch a randomly selected horror movie every week. I'm Bob.
And I'm Ben.
How have you been, Benjamin?
I've been fine.
Do you want to tell everyone about the great expense at your bank account, or are we going to not talk about that on the podcast?
So much pain. I had to fix some stuff in my car, and it cost me a lot of money.
You had to fix a couple things.
I had to do brakes and stuff and tires. It was a lot.
Do you want to tell the good people how much money you spent?
No. No.
Let's just say it was more than I was expecting when he came up to me and told me about it. It was a lot of money.
It's fine. I ate my feelings. We had a potluck at work.
Oh my God, dude. I had so much food. I felt so terrible after.
I can't imagine why, Bob. See, Bob he's very lactose intolerant.
Super lactose intolerant.
But he refuses to take lactose pills.
No. I have some.
When was the last time you've ever used those?
Last Friday.
Wow, that's more than I thought.
But the thing is, I didn't have them at work. That's the problem.
But he never uses them when he's eating dairy.
No, I try. Well, I forget most of the time. But
Yeah.
I have them.
I watched this man scarf down maybe a quarter of a plate of cheese and also cheesecake.
Yep.
And pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So any other dairy-based products there?
Oh God. No, not off the top of my head.
I don't know.
It was a lot. The thing is, I was fine all night at work. I came home, terrible time. Felt awful. Like absolute dog shit.
On that note,
what?
You want to get to the board? Or do you have anything else to say?
Well, I kind of wanted to talk about Skinamarink a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Bob watched Skinamarink, not on the podcast.
Yeah, well, Ben said I could.
Yeah.
I had to ask expressly.
I didn't think it was going to go on here.
And I agree with you that it should not have gone in here. The only reason I want to talk about Skinamarink is because we've both seen reviews online. It's very split.
Polarizing?
Polarizing. People either love it or they hate it. No one's like, it's fine, right?
No, either it's like the scariest thing ever, or it was so boring and I hated it.
I'm in the camp of, holy shit, that movie scared the absolute piss out of me. But this is just a warning for anyone, because it's on Shudder now, so if you have a Shudder subscription, you can go watch it. It's not in theaters anymore, I don't think. It's a boring movie. Like, nothing happens. There is no plot. It's weird. It's experimental. I really enjoyed it. I think Ben will like it. But if you're not into slow movies, don't watch this movie. It will do nothing for you. But it scared the bejesus out of me. It's so bad. Like, okay, so Ben has seen me on this podcast. When I get scared, I get angry. I get fighty. I was so scared that I moved past fight into full-on flight. I was not having it.
When Bob goes into flight, which I've seen him do, he always wears a beanie. For anyone who's interested, and he pulls the beanie over his eyes.
This is exactly what happened. I pulled the beanie over my eyes. I was watching it with one of my friends, and I was like, dude, tell me when it's over. I can't watch this.
He did the same thing during Rec
1?
No, during Rec.
Oh, we're not getting into this right now. I'm not having this
We're gonna
conversation
get
on
into
the podcast.
You got to be correct with your titles. You could call it the OG Rec if you want to be specific.
Well, it's not.
I'll let that pass.
I'm not gonna say that.
But you can't say Rec 1.
I can though, and I will.
And I'm not gonna respond properly. I'm gonna go. You mean what? Rec?
Oh my God. Also, I rewatched Halloween. For anyone who's interested, I just want to talk about this now because I have nothing else to talk about.
You mean Halloween 1?
I'm gonna throat punch you.
Yeah,
if Ben stops talking, it's because I choked him out. But I bought a bunch of Blu-rays. We've talked about this. All of them came in the mail, so I watched the first Halloween again.
Yeah, he bought the Blu-rays for the movies we've been watching.
Yeah. I want to get all of them, but I'm just getting the ones for movies that I like first.
Yeah, he couldn't find Halloween 3, which is why that hasn't purchased yet.
No, Halloween 3 is on the bottom of my list of purchases.
Bob actually liked Halloween 3. He's just mad about it.
Yeah, I am. That movie's fine. I just am upset about it. But I rewatched Halloween, and I watched the extended version. Man, that movie's still really good. I was kind of worried on the second watch through that it wouldn't be as good. No, still great. Still love that movie. I just wanted to let you know, Ben.
Okay.
If you were wondering, still my favorite.
I was wondering so much. so much.
You are okay. Anyway, I guess we can do the podcast now.
Okay.
So what? What do I have left, Benjamin?
You got 2 spots left. You have spot number 2 for pseudo documentaries, and spot number 3 for Parasite.
Okay, that last week's episode was a fucking slog. I'm gonna be honest. I know that episode is long as fuck, and we recorded that at the end of a three movie recording session. So it's pretty. That movie was not great. Okay, and I'm still upset about it.
I don't know. You rated it pretty highly.
I rated it higher than I wanted to because out of
what? Spite?
No, out of
that's gonna bring the average up to like a 2.
But the thing is, if you you hadn't told me all the things that were different in the book, I think I would have liked it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really want your perspective of the book to taint my viewing experience of the movie. But it's not a great movie objectively, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's fine if you don't have the book to compare it to, I think.
Oh yeah, so fine.
It's, you know, I'm gonna put, you know who I said likes this movie, that movie.
You're not gonna put him on blast.
I'm not gonna put him on blast on the podcast.
I'd like to point out though that a 30% on like IMDb is a 1.5 on this podcast.
And you gave it a 1 and I gave it a 3.
Yeah, so it's now rated higher on this podcast. That's on you.
It is on me, but I was trying to be nice about it, okay?
Don't be nice. Destroy.
So picking the last Parasite movie kind of scares me because, like, that was a stinker. But the first Parasite movie we watched was cool. So cool that I bought the Blu-ray.
Maybe this one would be fun.
Will it be gross? That's my worry. I don't really have that full of a stomach, but, like, I don't really feel like throwing up today. But also, the mockumentary category has been pretty spooky, and I don't feel like dealing with that either, especially after the scary weekend I had. Okay, I'll go with Parasites.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the last Parasite movie, Benjamin?
Today, we're going to watch Slither.
Oh! What is that? What is that?
It's a movie involving parasites.
Oh.
Ready for the description?
Sure, man.
A small town meets an alien life form. It doesn't get more classic than that.
Oh, actually, this sounds like it might be not so scary and more chill.
Yeah.
I hope so. I almost thought you were going to say Squirm, which is not, I guess, technically not a Parasite movie, but still scary.
Ass.
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Yeah, Ben.
2006.
Okay.
It's an hour and 35 minutes long.
All right.
It's rated R.
Thank God.
For review scores, it's a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, a tomato meter score of 87%, and an audience score of 63%.
You know what? This sounds like a fun time.
Better than Dreamcatcher. So, it has 2 awards and 5 nominations. It has a Saturn Award to Todd Masters and Dan Rebert for Best Makeup, and a Chainsaw Award to James Gunn for Highest Body Count.
Oh, James Gunn, like, I didn't know he did anything with this. This is cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know what other stuff he did before he, like, started doing Guardians of the Galaxy and whatnot.
This is, like, his first movie.
Really? That's really cool. Now I'm excited.
Don't quote me on that, but I believe this is his first.
That's really awesome. Okay.
Probably.
I mean, I believe
Allegedly.
you. I'll believe you. I don't have anything
It's pretty
to say
early.
otherwise.
Anyways, people to, like, look out for in this film. Nathan Fillion.
Nathan
as
Fillion's in this? Hell yeah.
Bill Party. You might know him as Richard Castle from Castle.
I've seen that entirety of that show. It's not very good.
Captain Malcolm Mal Reynolds from Firefly.
I have not seen Firefly, actually.
And most importantly, Captain Hammer from Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along Vlog.
Oh, you know I love that shit.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a musical theater kid. I love musicals so much.
The hammer is my penis.
That's
Just so
one of
you
the
know.
best lines in that whole fucking musical.
No, it's so fun because he's like, I'm going to give her the hammer. Leaves the room. Comes back in.
Oh, so good.
Elizabeth Banks as Starla Grant. You might know her as Effie Trinket in The Hunger Games.
Oh, okay.
You know, the one with, like, the crazy makeup.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Michael Rooker as Grant.
Grant. Awesome.
He's Yandu Udonta in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
Or for people on this podcast, he's Henry in Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
I haven't seen that either. Are we going to watch that? That sounds kind of cool.
Maybe. Depends
Okay.
on, like, if there's a category for it.
Well, yeah, I know, but I didn't know. Listen, sometimes there are movies where you go, we're just not going to watch
Oh,
that.
that's a good movie.
Okay, well, there we go.
Don Thompson as Wally.
All right.
You might know him as Detective Gallagher in Watchmen.
I haven't seen Watchmen.
Greg Henry as Jack McCready, Grandpa in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
That's okay. Haig Sutherland as Trevor. You might know him as Aaron in Halloween Resurrection.
God damn it. When we get there.
Lloyd Kaufman as Sad Drunk.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, man, this movie sounds great. I'm already in.
You might also know him as Vinnie Venison in A Most Atrocious Thing. And then finally, Jennifer Fisher as Shelby,
Okay.
which you might know as Pam Beasley from The Office.
Oh, okay.
Bob apparently didn't know who that was, but yeah, he's figured it out.
Well, no, I don't know the name, but I know that character from The Office. I haven't seen The Office, but I watched a lot of, I've never sat down and watched The Office, but I picked up a lot of The Office episodes through osmosis.
Osmosis.
Not Jones, just, the general term.
I didn't say Jones.
I said Jones.
All right, director is James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, fairly famous now. Doing
Yeah.
all the DC...
Kind of controversial now.
Well, yeah, doing
Some
all
of
the
the
DC
DC
Universe
stuff.
stuff, yeah.
Writers, also James Gunn. He's also written, like, The Belko Experiment, Scooby-Doo, and Scooby-Doo 2, The Monsters Unleashed.
Those movies are
The
awesome.
live-action ones, yeah.
Fucking wild.
Where you get Matthew Lillard as Shaggy.
Yeah?
Best casting choice.
It's so
Ever.
good.
All right, budget's estimated at 15 million, but the box office was only 12.8.
Oh, that sucks.
Country of origin, United States and Canada. It's also known as Horribilis in France, which just means horrible. The German title, which I'll give you, and then you can translate.
I'll try.
Slither, wohl auf den Schleim gegangen.
Can I see the actual words? Because I could maybe read it.
VOLL.
Vol. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
Vol,
Okay.
Auf, AUF, Den, DEN, SCHLEIM, Schleim, and then Gegangen.
Gegangen. That means to go.
GEGANGEN.
Yeah, that means like gone. Like to. I don't know how to translate that because I don't know the rest of those words.
Slither. Got it all slime.
Got it all
I
slime?
guess.
That's weird.
That's the German title, like I said.
I have not taken enough German to read that.
And then Slither. Feltel mar nevetve. That's the Hungarian title, which means Slither. Have you ever been scared laughing?
Oh, thank God. I'm so. Ugh.
What's wrong, Bob?
I'm not. I know. I'm excited.
Why are you excited?
Because I feel like this is not going to be the normal kind of movie.
Maybe. Could be
I'm-
super gross, though.
It's going to be gross, but that's fine.
All right, tagline.
Sure.
What's gotten into you?
Oh, fuck that.
I will say I did not see that one on posters, but
That's a cool
you
tagline.
know. So for our facts, Slither is, like I said, Gunn's directorial debut. I did write that down, so it's not allegedly anymore. Gunn began his career in Hollywood working with Troma Entertainment.
Oh,
You didn't know.
that makes sense. I didn't know that, but that makes sense.
His first writing credit is Tromeo and Juliet,
That movie I've not seen, but I've heard it's one of their best.
and so you can kind of see stuff like that in his style and humor and kind of some of his later movies,
Makes sense.
especially these early directorial ones. Jennifer Fisher is in this movie, Pam Beesly,
Mm-hmm.
because at the time she was married to James Gunn.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, they were married from 2000 to 2008.
Huh.
There is a slight controversy due to accusations about this film being a slight ripoff of a 1986 film called Night of the Creeps.
Oh.
Don't know if you've heard of that one.
I haven't heard of it, but...
Gunn has kind of gone on record stating that this film is primarily inspired by Cronenberg's Shivers and The Brood, as well as the manga Uzumaki by Junji Ito.
Oh, okay. Some more Ito.
But the movie's really intended to pay homage to like horror comedies of the 1980s. He is, at least at the time of writing, not seen Night of the Creeps.
Oh.
They just happen to be similar.
Interesting. Okay.
And if you didn't figure this out, it's a horror comedy.
That is exciting for me.
That does not mean you're safe.
No, but, like, I'm excited.
I think one of the things to note here is it's one of the only horror comedies of the early 2000s, which might be the reason it failed at the box office. Because like that
Interesting.
wasn't really a genre at the time in the same way it is now.
Yeah, I guess the only, like, horror comedy we've really watched was, I guess, Night of the Demons 2, technically, because that movie is intentionally very funny, I think. Like, it doesn't take itself as seriously as the first one, you know?
Yeah.
It's more fun. But that was in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
so it's interesting.
I mean, the market's changed,
Yeah.
All right. So this film is, I think, important to note. The first film, Gunn and Rooker worked on together. He's the guy who plays Grant in this, but also Yondu.
Okay.
They work on a lot of stuff together.
That's cool. I always like when directors like have certain actors that they like and they can pull for certain roles that are really good, you know?
Well, Gunn worked with him on this project,
Mm-hmm.
and he liked like working with him so much that he just gets
Yeah,
to
it's
do
just
stuff.
it's nice to see like directors pull from people they know to pick stuff that they like know will fit them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nice. I like it.
I've heard about this film. So like it uses a bunch of practical effects in it for
Yeah.
creature stuff. I heard somewhere that this film used so much silicone in doing its practical effects that
Yeah.
it depleted the national supply of silicone for a month. And then they
Holy
caught back up.
shit. Oh my god. This is gonna be gross, man.
And then final point, this film's filled with like a lot of Easter eggs.
Oh.
You can look out for them,
Okay.
but there's a lot, especially names. Like the names of characters tend to be Easter eggs, the names of stores and stuff.
Really? Okay.
A lot.
Like horror related stuff?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But like more than I can put down.
All right. Do you have some of the big ones written down for after?
I'll
I'll try and catch as many as I can.
try and catch as many as you can. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I mean, it's to the point where most of the named characters, their names are references to stuff.
Holy shit.
Like
wow.
that much.
Okay.
But that's all I got until the post movie. So
All right.
let's start a watching.
I guess we're going to go watch Slither. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We just finished watching Slither.
All right. What do you think, Bob? No spoilers. Let's start.
Let me see. It's gross. You were right. It's very gross.
It's not that gross.
Okay, it's gross for me, Ben.
I know.
Okay, listen. On my scale of gross, it's pretty gross.
It's an almost vomit.
I did almost throw up. It's fun. I liked it.
Yeah,
I
it's
enjoyed
fun.
the movie.
It's very James Gunn-esque, yeah?
Yeah, it's campy, but in like a fun. It's campy and fun.
I know, I just meant like you can tell he directed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It very much. Yeah.
So
it's good.
if you like his stuff, it's pretty
It's pretty.
par for the course for him.
Yeah.
Just
I can see
kind of,
that.
I don't know, crude humor mixed in with serious subjects.
Yeah, it's very. It reminded me a lot of Eight-Legged Freaks, and it's sort of campy.
In a way, but like James Gunn likes to do certain things, like the characters will be doing something in like a normal movie they'd succeed on the first time, but these characters struggle.
It's very
Kind of
good.
stuff.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say though before we get into the kind of rough summary and then?
No, I'll save it all for after.
Okay. Well, I gonna try to be pretty brief here because I don't want to spoil too much.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this movie is reacting to the whack ass shit, like
Yeah.
the absolute insanity of this movie. Sometimes I'm just sitting there like, oh.
But basically, what ends up happening is there's a meteorite.
Yep.
And it lands on Earth, and something comes out of it, which is very much reminiscent of the original The Blob.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
It's a space alien.
Interesting.
Or Venom in Spider-Man.
Yeah, I guess Venom.
Basically, it's like the most classic trope of a thing comes from outer space and a meteorite.
Yeah, and then it starts doing stuff to people and like
Yeah.
and being an alien. Yeah.
It's pretty classic.
I can't believe we got 2 alien movies in a row.
I mean, I can.
Well, yeah, you knew they were on the fucking thing,
Yeah.
but I didn't know.
But the thing arrives, and this guy, his name's Grant.
Good old Grant.
He's like out in the woods, and he gets jabbed by it.
See, I thought that was going to be a bigger part of the movie. I thought that was how it was going to like.
Yeah, Bob saw basically the thing that's in the meteorite kind of looks like a white pupa kind of thing.
Yeah, almost like a
But then it opens with 2, shall we say, flaps.
Yeah.
It looks very do you know what the word is?
I don't, because I
Because
would
like phallic is
for a penis.
a penis.
But I don't know what
What's
it
the
is for
technical
vagina.
term for it? Looks like a vagina.
Yeah.
It actually you've seen Alien, right?
Yeah.
Like the original one?
Mhm.
You know like the weird egg things?
Oh yeah.
You know how they have 4 lips?
Yeah.
That's because originally they had 2,
Oh,
but it looked too much like a vagina.
that's
um,
really funny.
And this movie just went with the 2.
The 2, and
yeah.
then a little like needle-looking thing pops out
It
and
starts
starts
shaking.
wiggling at Grant, and he's like looking like, "Ooh, what's
Which-
that?"
I'm not even gonna dive into what the
implication of that
what
is.
the implication and
Yeah.
the stuff is there, but
I mean, it's pretty heavily implied later with the
oh yeah,
penis tentacles.
basically the thing shoots into Grant's chest and climbs up, and then we get to see a like an X-ray version. Of
Yeah,
the
that was
thing
really cool. I thought
slithering
that was
into his
interesting.
brain.
I like when movies such as like this like a Parasite movie, sort of leans into the more biological aspect of it and shows you some stuff like that. It's kind of cool.
I mean, I guess it looks super early 2000s.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's better than just showing us nothing, right? Because now at least we know now that the thing is moved to his brain and
Oh,
isn't
no.
just like running around in its body eating him or something,
It's
right?
stylized and it works super well for this movie.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. Like the GTA kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
It's good.
it infects Grant, and then Grant becomes basically like the main host for this thing.
Yeah.
He goes around eating meat.
He just goes meat. It's very, very weird. He goes to the supermarket and buys like a bunch of raw beef,
Yeah, but
a bunch of steaks.
he then he eventually has like these weird tentacles coming out of his
Oh,
chest where he was
God.
stabbed, and he has 2 of them, and each one has like a little prong at the front.
Yeah, like
Like a
a
little-
spike.
Yeah, and he ends up shoving them into this other lady, Brenda's belly,
Oh God.
and you can see them pump stuff into her, and she
Oh.
becomes what we're gonna call a worm womb.
Yeah.
Basically, he injects her with a bunch of eggs, and she starts to become really, really hungry,
Mm-hmm.
and she just eats a lot of meat, and she eats and eats and eats, and she swells up like a balloon. Like if you've ever seen the original Willy Wonka
Mm-hmm.
and the Chocolate Factory, or if you've seen the remake Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
Yeah.
and seen the scene with Violet where she swells up
Yep.
like a blueberry,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what Brenda looks like.
Like that, but way bigger, and it's all real flesh, and her face is like in the middle of it, stuck to the front with blood. It almost made me throw up.
She looks like a pimple with red hair.
And the thing is, the woman, it wasn't even that. It was like the way she fucking like moved while it was like the way it like it ugh.
That's what almost made Bob vomit.
The way she like it like jiggles in a really bad way, and it's really, really gross.
It's probably the least gross thing in this movie. It checks boxes for Bob.
oh God.
But
Ooh.
she explodes,
Yeah.
which is a horrifying fate because
Ew.
like
you
she's
watch the
so,
skin rip and tear
yeah,
from the
'cause
explosion.
She's under so much pressure internally.
Yeah.
But she rips apart, and thousands upon thousands of these little worms come out of her, and they kind of look like
I think tongues
slugs.
is the best thing I
But
would
yeah,
call them.
if you've ever seen like a beef tongue,
Mhm.
like a cow's tongue, they're
Yeah.
about that size. I don't know. I'd say they're probably about the size of a forearm,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
minus the hand. But
Yeah, just like this part.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe a foot.
Maybe a foot, yeah.
And they're kind of like wider at one end and they go to a tip. But they slither around, hence the name Slither.
Yeah.
And their big thing is they jump into people's mouths, climb into the brain. I assumedly eat it
Yeah, I don't know.
and replace it.
Probably.
And then the main parasite, who has shared memories with Grant,
Yeah.
it basically starts to think of itself as Grant.
And it's all like a hive mind, too.
Controls all these bodies as a
Yeah.
hive mind. Like Grant talks through them because at this point he's a really fucked up kind of
Slug
slug.
man.
They call him a squid.
Yeah. He's got like tentacles and stuff, and it's gnarly.
But long story short, Grant's plan is to get all the zombies he now controls to collect meat so he can make more worm wombs,
Mm-hmm.
and then to have some of the guys shunt with him to become larger.
He gets big.
But while that's happening, Starla, Grant's wife,
Yep.
who Parasite Grant is still in love with,
Yeah.
Party,
Good old Bill Party.
and this girl,
Kaylee.
Kaylee. I'm glad you catch names.
You want to know the reason I remember that?
Why?
Because one of the kids in Skinamarink is named Kaylee,
Oh, well.
and that name stuck with me.
They're all kind of like running around, and their end plan is to kill Party. Not kill Party. Kill
Grant.
Grant.
Yeah.
Which they do.
They win. Well,
I'm not going to tell you how,
They don't win.
but they do win.
they
And
kill Grant.
They
Let's
kill
put it that
Grant. And once they kill Grant, all the zombies die. Because,
Yep.
again, I think the slugs, like, either destroy their brain or eat it.
Yeah.
But that's really the movie.
Yeah, that's about it, honestly.
A lot of it's pretty funny, so go watch it
It is
for
funny.
yourself.
It's a fun, campy watch, I think. I think it's enjoyable. I just really enjoy the juxtaposition of the situation the characters find themselves in and some of the ways they react. It's so good.
Yeah, but see, everyone reacts pretty sensibly,
That's what's funny.
but they're funny about how they're reacting.
Sure.
If that makes sense. Like, they're freaking out, but I think the best example is Jack McCready. Which
Yeah.
great reference to The Thing.
Yeah.
Starts freaking out about all the slugs and stuff, and they're in this cop car. They're driving away from all these zombies, and we see him lean over and open a cooler, and he starts freaking out because he doesn't have his Mr. Pibb. He's like, I told your secretary to pack my piss. It's the only Coke I like.
It's so fucking stupid. That's what I enjoy, though, is like, this is such a ridiculous situation, and some of the character reactions are so serious. It's so funny. Like, anytime that Bill just goes, holy fucking shit, it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Because it's just it's absurd. It's just absurd.
No,
It's fun.
It's a creature feature that leans into humor.
Yeah.
It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's fun.
Yeah. That's a good description.
Yeah. You want me to kind of go over my notes? I only got 2.
Yeah,
so.
sure. Yeah. Let's see
pretty
what
quick.
talking points you have for this one.
First thing I think to note about this movie is it's, like I said, it's supposed to be inspired by, horror movies from the 80s and stuff.
Yeah.
But you can tell it's kind of very derivative of like a mashup between a bunch of different horror movies, especially
Mhm.
creature features. Like The Thing, I mean, obviously we see Jack McCready
Yeah.
is a reference to McCready. But the thing that Grant becomes,
Mm-hmm.
Squid as they call him, has a bunch of tentacles and stuff, which to me is very reminiscent of The Thing, especially where he's like melding with stuff. I said what he's doing where he's absorbing people. I referred to that as shunting because that's what happens in society.
I was thinking like the Blob too, just like sucking up stuff.
Yeah, but you haven't seen The Blob.
Well, yeah, but I know about the
vaguely
Blob.
kinda
You know what I
know how-
mean? Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's very reminiscent of other horror movies. I said a lot of people think this is like a ripoff of Night of the Freaks,
Mm-hmm.
which, not to spoil too much, but that also involves like alien slugs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, that's something to take with like a grain of salt in this movie. It seems like it's paying homage to like stuff, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it feels very close to maybe something you've seen before.
Sure.
It's just stylistically different because it's a comedy.
Yeah. I can see that. Here's the thing, I haven't seen any of these other movies, so I can't really like elaborate because
Yeah.
I don't have a reference point for this.
I guess
Like I've seen The Thing, but like
I
you
guess
know.
what I'm trying to say is like I think all the creature stuff is fun,
I do too. I think it looks cool too.
but it also doesn't feel super original.
No, I would say it's not a very original idea for a movie.
Like, it feels like an old hat kind of thing.
Kind of, but it still works.
Yeah, it works because it's like, if this had been serious,
It wouldn't have
it
been.
wouldn't have worked because I've seen the creature stuff 100 times in
Exactly.
100 different ways. Like I said, it's very reminiscent of a lot of stuff, but because it's a comedy, it's now a new setting and it feels unique enough.
It feels fresher. I also think the fact that at the start of the movie, it's revealed that Grant is infected. I kind of went in like, oh, this is a single like parasite like infected thing. Like this is a single creature. And the switch up to the worms was really cool because we spend most of the movie just with Grant being the only problem.
Heck, the switch up from Grant being mostly normal to, oh, now he has little sex penises coming out of his chest, which they are very phallic.
They are super phallic.
Which I think this is a good time to mention. When Grant infects people,
oh god,
it's very framed like sex. Like
it
the
is.
people being injected with
the eggs and stuff.
The eggs and stuff look like they're orgasming for lack
and I
of a
think
better
that's
term.
Supposed to be a joke. I was just grossed out.
It's supposed to be on purpose. Like
Yeah.
the movie's hypersexualizing the parasite stuff, which is
weird.
It's weird, but it's also very classic. I mean, Alien, which is probably the most famous alien and or parasite movie, super sexual.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I mean, obviously, for us as humans, it's hard to get around the idea that someone being inserted with something for reproduction is not sexual.
Sure.
So it makes sense that they do it. It's just there's some weird scenes, like when Grant infects Brenda.
Oh god, that one's the worst one.
He goes over there and she thinks he's trying to have sex with her.
Yeah.
So she starts taking off like her shirt, and then he gets on top of her like missionary essentially, and injects her. And it's framed very much like it's supposed to look like sex because it's jumping between Starla, which is his wife, and it's framed like he's cheating on her.
Yep.
I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff like that, but
gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like it.
I mean, I think this is a good transition for the actual monster.
Sure.
You said it's a hive mind, which it is,
which is very cool. I like that too.
I will mention it's less like certain hive minds where it's all the creatures make up one consciousness, and more like one creature, the stinger thing, that infects Grant, is controlling a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
Kind of like a queen system.
Yeah, it's sort of like there's like a center of activity and then it reaches out.
Yeah, like a little network. But I think this creature, I don't think is anything to write home about. I don't know what your thoughts are there.
I don't think it's anything to write home about, but I do think it's cool, mostly because of what Grant becomes. But I think the idea of it being a hive mind, I really like the fact that it also infects animals and it uses that to its advantage and uses that to watch them and shit. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with the deer, top tier.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I enjoy that part.
I guess my point is it's cool. It just felt too familiar for me.
Sure, that's fair.
The thing that I think is the most unique about the creature, though, is the fact that it's implied that this creature is like a world destroyer.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's super old, and it's been hopping from world to world, essentially infecting one person and then eating the whole planet.
Yep.
I was just wondering what your thoughts on that were.
It's cool. It's sort of, I don't want to say derivative, but like that's a classic,
A destroyer of worlds.
like a classic sort of, hell, I'm even going to jump to it. Warhammer 40K. That's just what the Tyranids are. They're just a bug thing that shows up on a planet, eats it, and then moves on.
Yeah, I mean, it's
in a very similar way, at least.
It's obviously pretty classic to have an alien species that goes destroying worlds. That's the whole trope of alien invasions, right? I just think it's interesting to see like one species that's like a hive mind hopping, because that's more unique, you know?
I mean, that's what Tyranids do. They are a hive mind that hops.
Yeah, but see, you have to think about this species is not like a hive mind where it doesn't have that same range. So, like, think about this. This is what I like to think about because it's a weird implication. But when this creature wanted to come to this planet, the weird, like, stabby thing had to crawl out of its main host, get put in, like, a weird flesh capsule, encased in rock, and then shot to another planet.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Like, it's not like there's a mega hive mind or anything.
No, it's just one
creature.
Damn.
So it's less like a hive mind going from place to place and more like it's an astronaut. It hops in, it's whatever.
Yeah, whatever that little cocoon thing it comes out of.
I don't know how it makes it.
I don't know either.
But it launches itself to a new planet.
And keeps going. That's
I
really
just think
grody.
that's kind of interesting.
That is cool. I guess I didn't look at it like that because I hadn't really considered the fact that it's one big being.
Yeah.
And not like a bunch of individual little creatures.
It's less like a hive mind and more like just one creature, and then the worms are like it.
It's, I guess, tentacles. It's tendrils. It's
I would
reach.
think of them more like white blood cells or something.
Yeah. It's almost as if it's like one big creature with its, I don't know, with its immune system and or like.
That can leave its body. body.
Yeah, to go out
Yeah.
and do its bidding. It's kind of cool.
It feels less like a traditional hive mind, I guess.
Yeah, no, now that you frame it like that, I could totally see that. That
Where
makes
it's
way more
like,
sense.
because in a traditional hive mind, well, you might have drones and stuff.
Yeah.
Theoretically, it can survive on usually with if everything but one drone dies, you know.
Yeah.
But this thing has a central body. It's the little stabber thing,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else is extra parts.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's the hive mind stuff and the jumping from world to world feels the most unique to me.
Yeah.
Not that, like you said, that's the most unique thing ever, but
It
adds depth to the monster that it didn't otherwise need.
That's true. I mean, it doesn't really need all that background stuff. Like, that's just interesting extra bits.
And we only learn about that background stuff through one of the coolest scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
Kaylee,
Mm-hmm.
she gets a worm in her mouth, but she catches it with her really big fake nails
Yeah.
that her friend just gave her the day before, and she's holding it in her mouth, and it's trying to, like, I guess, link up to her brain.
Yeah,
while
trying to,
she's
like,
doing
meld
this.
into her consciousness.
And so she gets flashes of, like, the thing's past.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is cool. It adds, I think it adds depth to the creature, but also, like, I don't know, it adds, weight to the creature.
Yeah.
Because you realize, oh, this thing is not, like, this isn't its first rodeo. It's done this before.
I think you definitely need that in the movie because, like we said, it's kind of a horror comedy, but it leans more into comedy.
Yeah.
And without a scene that gives the creature weight, I think it wouldn't feel threatening
No, it really wouldn't.
because it's so humorous.
It is, because all the people who are infected just look, the way they move is real funny.
They move funny, kind of like the slugs don't know how to move them
Yeah,
really well.
it's really cool.
I think there's probably some disconnect between the brain and the slug for
Mhm.
control. They move kind of slow. The only thing that's really scary about them is they spit acid,
That is fucking freaky. When they start spitting acid at people, freak me out.
and it doesn't really melt someone as much as it causes something to swell and then explode.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have any other thoughts on the creature?
Let me think. I don't really have any other thoughts on the creature. My big thing, at least, is while it's not the most unique creature in the world, I think it fits the tone of the movie well.
No, I mean it works for the tone of the movie well. It's just I think my end statement here is it's a cobbled together mix of all the best things of a lot of really good monsters.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so it just doesn't feel super original because we see all those really good features and a lot of different monsters. And because it's a flesh thing, it doesn't look super original either. But
Yeah.
it's cool. It works.
It's cool. It works. I liked it.
Especially for this comedic tone. It
Mhm.
wouldn't have otherwise. But
Yeah, because it's like, it looks cheesy while also being gross and kind of intimidating because it's so big. And all the tentacles and stuff, like, it feels powerful because the way it, like, smashes stuff and, like, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's
Literally
just-
chucks a couch. It's awesome.
It's an interesting creature because it's in a mostly comedy movie, so it's not very serious. And
Yeah.
it's weird. You
It
know?
is weird.
Because I'd be interested in seeing how I've seen how creatures similar to this work in other settings, and
Sure.
they can work very serious and horrifying. And
Uh-huh.
it's interesting seeing it in a different tone.
That's fair.
It just feels very different.
Well, I assume this is similar to The Blob. When we watch The Blob, that'll be cool to see the difference. Because you told
Yeah.
me The Blob is fucking scary.
Well, I don't know how much we've said this, or I don't think we've said it in a while. Bob doesn't like body horror,
No,
and
at all. It's one of my least favorite things.
the original Blob is a lot of fun. I think
Yeah.
but it's very sci-fi kind of B movie.
That's how this
from
feels
the
for me.
1950s, and I feel like that's kind of what this is going for, but with a more modern spin. You know,
Yeah,
that's why I said
agree.
in my description, it's like nothing more classic than an alien comes from space and causes problems.
Yeah.
But the Blob remake, which is what Bob wants to watch, is that movie's scary. Now I don't think it's very scary.
I'm excited
but
to watch
it's like horrifying, I guess would
Mhm.
be the word.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like you can kind of joke at the original Blob, but the way they portray it in the remake, because they make it serious, is horrifying. And that's kind of how I feel with this movie. It's like it's very funny because the tone is funny,
Yeah.
but it could have been freaky.
Oh, yeah. If they had done more stuff with the actual tentacles and, like, it, I feel like this would have been more freaky for me personally if it had contained just, like, stuck to just Grant. And it would have, if it would have been more of, like, him stalking people and trying to get them and infect
Yeah.
them, that would have been a much scarier movie.
I mean, it skips 3 days where he's becoming more monstrous
Yeah.
and like killing cows and stuff.
Yeah,
I think
lots
if it
of
showed
animals.
more of him doing that,
Yeah.
because I think the scariest part of the movie, maybe not the scariest, but the freakiest thing of the movie is not the zombies
No.
or the slugs, because you can just close them out.
Yeah.
It's when Grant injects people with those tentacles.
Mhm.
I think if we
Yes.
saw a lot more of him just injecting people,
Oh, God.
that would have been a lot more serious of a tone
Yeah.
and also just freakier.
And also, if we'd seen him just killing more people, the kill that Grant kills like in Slug one person, and it is fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
He's strong. He is scary as shit. And also, the way he moves is really cool. The way he because when you see Grant before he becomes like a big slug,
He moves awkwardly when he's moving slow, but then he can slither
he
like
could
a
literally
snake.
flatten and just snake on the and the way he moves in water, fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's interesting again to see how tone can affect the portrayal of something.
Yeah, like if it had, I like to switch up to the worms because it adds more weight to the whole situation of like the whole town is now infected. It's a big problem.
But also the worms are super goofy.
The worms are goofy. They're fun. They're not super scary. I enjoy it. I like it. But,
All right. I guess moving off to Creature now.
Sure.
I have one more note, and that's about Rooker. So that's the guy who plays Grant.
Yeah.
He went to lengths for this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know the scene where when he first starts to become like squiddy,
Yeah.
and his arm like turns.
Oh, yeah. It
like
goes
a
all
noodle.
bendy.
Yeah, and you see him run away and he hits the lamp down and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's that scene specifically. The prosthetics dislocated his arm during that scene.
Oh, my
as
God.
he like runs out the door.
That's fucking wild.
Later on, when he's in like the full bodysuit,
Yeah.
it gave him permanent back issues that he has to this day.
That sucks, man.
Like he was like it was horrendously painful.
Oh.
And also like during the last scenes of the movie,
Mhm.
it was apparently his birthday during filming, so he had to spend all day in like this
Oh my
weird, fucked
God.
up, painful
Flesh suit.
flesh suit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. We haven't really talked about it.
But like he was good humor about it. Like Gunn still works with him because
Yeah.
they're pretty friendly about this.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I don't know. That's really all my notes.
Well, something I want to bring up.
Okay.
This movie is fairly gross. All of the prosthetics look good. I didn't really have
Yeah.
any problem. I mean, some of them look kind of cheesy, but I think that's kind of the point.
I guess. I mean, the budget for this, what, 1.5 million?
It wasn't a ton of money, and they did a lot with
Which,
the budget.
Obviously, 1.5 million is a lot of money.
Not in movies.
But not in movie time. Mostly because they have to pay people.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the big thing. And
for
they had
one-
some pretty big actors in this.
Yeah. I mean,
Like Nathan Fillion's. I don't know how big he was in 2006, but now, I mean, he's in a lot of
he had
shit.
just done Firefly.
And that was like his big breakout thing, right?
I think so, yeah. But that was still big.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the practical effects look fine.
Yeah, I
They're-
think they're cool.
I think their only problem, and this is just has to do with the monster it is, it's like a
Mhm.
flesh monster. So
Yeah.
a lot of it looks, when we get to the end, a lot of it looks the same.
Mm-hmm. It's just flesh.
A weird pink flesh tone,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's slimy.
Yeah, and I mean, I enjoyed like the parts of the movie where there were people like writhing around in the flesh monster. Like that looked cool. It didn't look terrible. There's one part near the end where there's the lady stuck in like the membrane in the back of the flesh monster. That was cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's cool stuff, but I've seen it before.
Exactly. It's very. I don't want to say derivative, but it is. Like it.
It is.
We're
But I
getting a
mean,
lot of the same ideas, you know.
It's James Gunn's like ode to
Mhm.
horror movies.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
The CGI. I want to talk about that a little bit. It holds up. Not terrible,
It holds up. Like
I-
you can tell it's CGI.
but it's not awful. And also because I was worried when they start having to kill the zombies because they're trying to kill them that it was gonna look bad. But the CGI holds up. The worms are fine.
yeah, I
like-
mean, it looks like dated CGI in the way that you can tell it's CGI.
Exactly, but it's not unwatchable
but
and
it's
it
not
doesn't
dated
ruin it.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my last little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about this movie. I guess the last thing I could say is, would you have wanted this to be more serious?
No, actually.
No?
I wanted more campiness. I was
Okay.
hoping for more camp from it. Like it didn't not have campiness, but it wasn't as much as I expected.
I think what you're trying to refer to is maybe over the top campiness.
Yeah, I was hoping for more overt campiness.
It does a serious storyline and the characters are behaving seriously, but then they do something that's really funny.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. That's James Gunn's kind of MO.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe something I would have liked to see, and I think it's probably what you were trying to say, is almost cartoonish levels of
Yes.
silliness.
That's what I wanted.
Like, I don't know, if someone gets hurt but like walks for a couple seconds or something,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be more intentionally funny, but over the top. You know what I mean? Goofy, I guess. But it wasn't, and that's okay.
Maybe absurdist is the word for
Yeah.
humor. It's something to think about. I like this movie
I do too. I enjoyed it.
because it's unique because of the concept combined fine with
the
humor.
tone. And
Yeah.
what they did with it. Yeah.
And I think that makes it a good watch. And I think if it had been serious, it wouldn't have been as unique of a movie.
Yeah.
However, it would have been cool to see Grant as like a scary killer.
Yeah. I feel like he could do it. That's the thing. Because I could tell that Michael Rooker is a good actor.
Yeah.
And I think he could do something super serious.
Well, he can. We've seen him.
Well, yeah. But I'm
Henry
saying like,
Portrait of Serial Killer. Super serious.
well, I'm saying like in this movie, I could tell that he could have done more of a serious job. But I think the problem would be the story would have to be a lot different.
Yeah. I think I would have liked to seen this movie as is.
Sure.
Maybe with some more like absurd kind of humorous scenes,
Mm-hmm.
but also just more horror. Like,
Yeah.
it feels like it sacrifices some actual horror for comedy. And I've seen this before, so maybe that's part of it.
Sure.
But there was the scenes that I could tell were supposed to be scary, and I just kind of found them funny.
Same.
And that's fine because this is a comedy movie, but I think the film would have been much better if it was able to be actually scary.
Yeah.
Or horrifying, whatever the word you want to use is.
I will say I didn't think this movie was that scary. It's definitely unsettling because I was really uncomfortable during some of the scenes.
But I think that was more because you don't like body horror.
There it is. That's what it is.
I'm fine with body horror, and I just found those scenes very funny.
Really? See, I was
Like
so gross,
the scene
man.
that almost made you vomit with the big pimple lady, Brenda. I think you found that kind of unsettling, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the funniest scene in the movie.
Really?
Because they walk in and she's big and she's like, I didn't want you to see me like this.
Oh.
And she's like,
Oh.
Can you just hand me a little bit of that possum over there?
Oh, and then right before she explodes, she goes, "These bitches are tearing me up inside."
Yeah, I thought it was very funny.
No.
You think it's unsettling.
It unsettles
But
me.
I'm going to tell you, that scene, I think, is meant to be completely funny and not
Really?
unsettling. Yeah. Gross. Shocking. But
Oh.
not like that unsettling. And
It hurts my butt. It hurts my tummy.
I think just if the film had a lot more, like, real horror combined with the comedy,
Yeah.
I think it would have hit harder.
I can agree with that.
But anything else you want to say before we go to the recommendations?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Who would you recommend it for, Bob?
I think if you're looking for a fun movie, a fun horror comedy movie for friends, this movie is fun with friends, I think. I think this would be a
Yeah.
fun watch with other people.
But not like, the thing for me with this movie is it feels like a movie you don't pay like a super huge amount of attention to.
No, I can agree with that.
That sounds bad because I always usually pay attention to a movie.
I try
but
to.
It feels like it's one of those movies where you could really enjoy it, like if you're goofing around with friends and like having a good time.
Yeah.
You know, and still be able to get everything you need out of this film.
No, I can agree with that.
Yeah, good part.
Because it's not, I mean, it's not, there's not a lot of depth to this movie, right?
Yeah, that's probably the best word for it. There's probably no depth really.
No, it's very much what you see on the screen is what is happening.
The most depth in the story is there's kind of like a love triangle between
Yeah.
Starla, Grant,
And Bill.
and Bill,
Yeah.
which is decent, but
Yeah, it's fine.
they don't expand on it enough for
Nope.
it to be deep enough for you actually to want to watch it.
Yeah.
Like
it's fine
basically,
enough.
Starla and Bill are childhood friends, but Starla ran off with Grant because
Yep.
he's rich.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the whole that's the depth of that one. I'm just gonna put that this is not a cinematic masterpiece or anything, so there's not a lot to dig deeper into, but it's still a fun watch and I
Yeah.
still enjoyed it.
I mean, I think my recommendation with friends,
Yeah.
if you're looking for like a kind of a good just chill or party movie,
Mhm.
but I think if you're looking for kind of a sci-fi creature feature mixed with a comedy,
That's a good one.
that's how I describe this. It's a comedic creature feature. That's,
Yeah.
that's about it.
There's not much else to
That's
it, man.
probably a good summary right there.
I can agree with that.
Rating?
Okay. I feel like I want to give it a 2.5, but I feel like a 2.5 is too harsh because it does some things I like. So I'm gonna go with a 3 because it's very middle of the road for me. Like it's middle of the road enough that I was considering giving it a 2.5. But I think the creature looks cool. I like the practicals. It's fairly gross. I like the switch up from individual parasited, like just Grant to worms to the whole town. That's cool, and I enjoy it. And I also think not that the zombies are scary, but they add threat. They're
Yeah.
just because there are so many of them, it's overwhelming, and I think that's interesting to watch these characters navigate.
Okay.
And also, there are some parts of it that are really like, you know what I really enjoy, and we
What?
didn't even talk about this. When they first learn that Grant's going around like killing all these animals and stuff, and like they see him tentacle, they go to their armory and get a bunch of guns, and the weapons they have are absurd and funny. And there's even a hand grenade in there.
Yeah, they confiscated it from some guy who was
Trying
trying
to-
to use it.
Trying to trot fish with a hand grenade. That part of the movie is funny, and I enjoy the fact that is an over the top goofy thing, right? That I enjoy,
Yeah.
and I wish the movie had more of that. So yeah, 3.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the 2.5.
Okay.
So for me, its film's pretty middle of the road, right?
Yeah.
I think that as like a creature feature mixed with the comedy, it works pretty well. It's not the funniest thing ever. I think it could have done some things to be being more kind of laugh out loud funny, but I think it's pretty good. And if that's what it was trying to be, I would have given it a 3.
Mm-hmm.
However, this film is very clearly trying to be a horror movie.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff is paying reference to horror movies, and there's some body horror stuff that's very reminiscent of horror movies. But I just don't think the movie's scary.
It's not scary.
And I don't really get scared by horror movies, but I can tell, right?
Yeah.
And this
I wasn't screaming or you know what I mean? Like I'm sure you could tell I was pretty lighthearted the whole time. I was chilling.
it just doesn't feel like a horror movie, even though it seems like it's attempting to do it. And you can be a scary movie, a horror movie, and not be scary. Like
Fair.
Hatchet, which
Not
is
scary.
a lot of fun, but I would still describe it as a horror movie.
Oh, for sure.
But this movie was trying to be scary, and it just wasn't. And I feel like it could have been so much better if it had been scary and had been able to balance that with the comedy. But they sacrificed that for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think it reached the goal it set out to.
I think that's why I called it akin to Eight-Legged Freaks is because Eight-Legged Freaks scared me, right?
Right.
But that's because I'm afraid of spiders.
But that's purposely a spoof movie,
Sure.
and it didn't really set out to be scary. It just happened to be scary,
Sure.
There's some actual scenes in that movie that are unsettling. Like, there's the one scene where the barber's sitting in the chair and the spider comes around the other side.
Yeah, that one's good.
This movie, I don't think executed that well enough.
No, I don't think so.
But it got close sometimes.
It got really close when Grant between human Grant and big worm Grant, the middle form of Grant is terrifying.
Yeah, and
because it's fast and it can fucking destroy. It's awful.
Or even like when he walks into Starla showering and we see the tentacles come out, like he's gonna attack her.
That unsettled me.
It gets close, and so I think that gives it the half rating to a 2.5 and not a 2.
That's fair.
I don't think it outright failed, but because you were kind of unsettled by some of the body horror stuff, but it just wasn't there for me. So 2.5.
That's fair. No, I understand that.
That's all I got, though.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we just about covered everything, Benjamin.
Short and sweet because not a lot of depth.
No.
It's just it's fun entertainment, I guess, but
yeah, like I would watch this again with friends.
Yeah.
Like this is something that I could see me and some other friends, we go and we have a movie night every once in a while. I would be like, "Hey, let's watch Slither." Like this is fun.
You wouldn't watch it on your own, would you?
No.
Yeah.
Cuz it's not interesting enough.
Cuz you've already seen it.
Yeah, I've had the thing happen, you know what I mean? But showing it to new people would be fun because they don't know what they're in for.
Yeah. All right. Well,
but,
we're going to go to the outtakes.
Yeah, I guess we'll see you in a bit. Hello everybody, welcome to the outtake section for this episode of Beware the Board. I hope you're enjoying our review of Slither so far. I think it's a fun, gross watch with friends. Without further ado, let's get into the first outtake. This first one comes to us pretty early on in the movie, when we get to watch Grant get stabbed and infected by the parasite. Oh, is that what they look like? They look gnarly. Ew. What? Oh! What? Oh! Oh! Oh no! No way! Oh, this is gnarly. This next clip is our reaction to infected Grant going out and finding himself a nice meaty snack. The fact that he's still semi-normal is weird. Like, he's still being weird, but... Oh, here we go. What's going on, Grant? Hey, buddy.
He's
It was a dog.
He's hungry, Bob.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, man. That sucks. He man's out here eating dogs. This next clip is our reaction to Grant revealing that he has weird chest penis tentacle things, and then he tries to get Starla with them, but he stops himself.
The perfect fog on that.
Yeah, I was about to say that perfectly placed fog on the mirror or the shower. Oh! Oh my God!
Let me touch you, maybe. The fog really doesn't cover it, though. Looks like. Oh, you ever seen cattails when they get the pointy? Yeah.
Oh, that's gnarly, dude. That's so grody. Oh. That was a gnarly parasite.
Yeah,
those are cool.
He stopped himself.
He did stop himself.
This next clip is Ben and I making an Always Sunny reference as per usual, and also Grant trying to convince Starla that it's just a bee sting.
Lights don't work fine. You just tried 6 times. Didn't turn on.
I think she only tried.
I think it was like 3, but
3.
whatever. What is she, Charlie's mom?
I gotta do things in threes so that Charlie doesn't die.
Oh, God. See, the thing is, I don't know what he did to that lady. Did he eat her? Or did she...
He put his little penis fingers in her.
Or did he impregnate her with a worm? Oh, hi, Grant. Just a bee sting! Ah!
This next clip is our reaction to Grant attacking Starla by using his tentacles and his weird stretchy arms, but Bill ends up saving the day.
He's got a weird snake arm.
Oh! Oh, my God. Oh! Look, what the fuck was that? It was fucking phenomenal.
This next clip is our reaction to watching Grant while in his weird slug form slice a man completely in half but leave the back part of his skin intact.
Oh, no way! All the way in half?
Not all the way.
Oh! That was, oh my God, the way it moves like that is gnarly. And that guy, this is, wow. This is nuts.
This next clip is our reaction to Worm Womb Brenda as well as her worm explosion.
Oh! Oh my God. What in the fuck? Dude.
You ever seen Willy Wonka?
That. This is. That's so. That's so gross.
It's fine, Bob.
It's so gross, dude.
It's not that gross.
No.
It's pretty funny. She looks like a really, really big zit.
Oh God, that's disgusting, Benjamin.
Like a hair.
Like no, that's so fucking gross. Like actually.
Do you mind handing me possum over there?
Oh. Yeah, me too, man. Me and Jack got the same idea. This is like
She's fine.
genuinely really
Bob.
gross.
She just looks like a pimple with some red hair on it.
Shut up. Oh my God. This is so gross, man. Like actually. Oh God, it's ripping. Oh, and fucking Grant's outside. Oh. Oh, this just got so much worse. Oh my God, Benjamin. Oh, they look like little turds.
Except red. I think they look like slugs.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Oh my God. That was fucking disgusting.
Can't believe fat lady made you almost vomit.
Really?
Bob hates fat people.
Shut up. Well, at least this is really taking a turn. Because I was kind of happy that it was one creature. But now it's a bunch of creatures. And they're really grody. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the outtakes for this episode. I'm sure there were quite a few. Do we have any announcements, Ben?
Come back next Friday.
Yeah, next
for the
Friday's
last
episode.
movie spot of this board.
How exciting, Benjamin. I'm excited for the next board. For category... my category... You know what? I'm not going to spoil what my category is. Because guess what? I haven't chosen one yet.
Bob keeps switching it.
I keep switching it. I know what my random recommendation is, though, and I think you'll like it.
Okay.
But, you know, be hype. Next board coming up. New categories, new movies, new shit. I'm so excited.
I just think the juxtaposition between you having not decided and me deciding before the first episode is very funny.
Well, I've changed it a couple times because I fucked up and
All
said
right.
something I shouldn't have at work once or twice. I just get excited and I say things I shouldn't.
Well,
Anyway, follow us on Twitter at BewareTheBoard. It's where I post updates for the show. If you want to know anything you think about the show, that's where it goes. Every Monday, I post a spoiler post for Friday's episodes. Maybe you can watch the movie before we review it, so you don't have anything spoiled. I also post every Friday the link of the episode as soon as it goes live on our Twitter. If we ever do polls or anything like that, actually, we do have an announcement. I made a TikTok for us.
Oh.
Follow us on TikTok.
Or don't.
At Beware the Board. I'm gonna work on posting extra content there soon. It'll be like shorts and stuff, or like reacting to extra content on movies.
I'm gonna let you in a secret. If you don't like TikTok or you don't have it, pretty much all the stuff you post on TikTok will probably get posted on YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, I'll probably post both on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, depending on which
So,
way you want to view it.
You have options.
Let me think. We're not on Spotify or anything yet. We're working on that. We will be there eventually.
Some point
maybe
we'll be-
by the end of this board.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
At some point.
But maybe we'll make it through this board without doing it.
That would really be a time, wouldn't it?
Be
Listen,
funny.
man, it'll be a whole thing. Anyway.
Check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. And if you have anything you think could make the podcast better, you have any like questions for us, any movie recommendations, slither into our comment section and just let us know.
I was waiting on that one. All right.
That's it.
I think that wraps it up, everybody. I guess we'll see you next week.
And remember, always beware the board.